Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Leah, and today we're going to be doing a slow flow and gentle stretch. So I'm going to wait just a few minutes, let some people pop on, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see about adjusting the screen just a little bit. There we go. Can't quite see my napkin. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to start off in mountain pose. So we're finding the top of our mats, and we're starting in the base of the pose with our feet. All four corners are firmly planted in the mat, traveling up the legs, kneecaps are engaged, thighs are lifted, hips are stacked underneath the shoulders, shoulders are relaxed back and down. Rooted here in the mat, taking a few breaths. Being in this present with our breath. Very calming and centering here. And then we're going to begin to lower one ear to one shoulder, looking for a stretch in the side of the neck, maybe even reaching those opposite fingers down toward the mat to deepen that stretch in the neck. Bringing the head back up to center. We're going to lower to the other shoulder. And again, if we're looking to deepen that stretch in the neck, we'll reach the fingers down. Coming back up to center, we're going to add in some shoulder circles here. This is a great opportunity to listen to our body. Maybe we want to do shoulder circles just like I'm showing, or maybe we want to take it in the opposite direction. Maybe we want to go one shoulder at a time. Absolutely listening to our own individual body, deciding what feels good for us today. And then we'll inhale, one arm up, reaching toward the ceiling. Exhaling down. Inhale, reach the other hand up toward the ceiling. And lower it down. One more time on each side. And we're going to bring our hands to our hips. Widen those feet out just a little bit. We're going to move through some hip circles. Attempting to keep our shoulders as still as possible while still moving our hips in as wide of a circle as possible. Let's take it in the opposite direction. Slowing down the hip circles. We're going to open up to face the long end of the mat and take our feet out wider than shoulder width distance. Toes point out wider than the heels. We're going to bend the knees and straighten the knees. Flowing here. We'd like to add in some arms here. Arms come up in a 5-pointed star. And we bring the elbows into the side, squeezing the shoulder blades very intentionally. From here, we are going to meet with our legs bent, hands come to the thighs. We're going to start to shift side to side. Coming back to center, we're going to meet at the top of the mat once again. We're going to inhale, arms up. Exhale to forward fold, hinging at the hips, nice opening in the back of the legs. Inhaling back up to mountain. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling to mountain. Exhaling to forward fold. Keeping it flowing here. Last time we exhale to forward fold. We're going to sit the hips back, coming up into our chair pose. Hands can be at the heart, out in front, or up above the head. We're exhaling to forward fold once again. Inhaling to chair, sit the hips back. Exhaling to forward fold. Continuing to move with our breath. Feeling the base of chair pose in the balls of the feet and in the heels. And then we'll meet in forward fold. Bringing the hands flat to the mat, we're going to step it back to down dog. Pushing the hips back toward the wall behind us. Maybe walking the dog by bending one knee, pressing the opposite heel toward the mat. And then we'll slow down walking the dog, and we'll bring the knees to the mat for all fours. From all fours, we are going to find some cat-cow. So we're inhaling, chest moves forward. Exhaling, arch the back, tuck the chin into the chest. Inhaling, cow, chest moves forward. Exhaling, cat, arching the back, tucking the chin. Moving with our own individual breath here. Coming to a neutral spine. We're going to inhale one foot toward the back wall. Exhaling it down. Inhale, other foot goes toward the back wall. And we exhale it down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down, alternating legs. And if we're looking for a bit more of a challenge here, when we raise one foot, the opposite arm can reach forward. Making sure that when we're lifting the arm and lifting the leg, we're reaching with that limb. So if we're lifting with a leg, we're reaching toward the back wall. If we're reaching with both an arm and a leg, we're reaching in opposite directions actively. We're going to lift each side one more time. Coming back to all fours, we're going to sit back onto the heels in child's pose. Making sure child's pose is comforting for our body. This might mean spreading the knees out wider or coming up off the heels, whatever is most honoring to our body. On our next inhale, we're going to shift forward into kneeling plank, exhaling back to child's pose. Inhaling, kneeling plank, exhaling back to child's pose, continuing to flow with our breath. The next time we come into kneeling plank, we'll hold, we'll lower all the way to the mat. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the chest into cobra. Exhaling back down to the mat. We're going to push it up to kneeling plank and back to child's pose. Coming up into all fours, let's kick that right foot forward. We're going to find a low lunge. Back knee can be lowered or lifted, whatever's most comfortable for you. And then from here, we're going to send the hips back, straightening the front leg. Sending it back to our low lunge. We're going to inhale, push through this front foot, lift it up to a low crescent. Exhaling back down to a lunge. We're going to send the hips back for a runner's lunge. Coming back to our low lunge. Let's lift it up, pushing through that front foot, strong core as we lift. Exhaling back down. Sending the hips back, opening in the back of the front leg. Last time we'll lift up. And then we'll come back down to our low lunge. From here, we're going to pop that back knee up. And then we're going to spin the back heel down, maybe taking our stance in a little bit, finding warrior feet. Front toes are pointed forward, back toes are at a 90 to 45 degree angle. We're walking the hands up the front leg. And I'm going to turn just to face the camera. You can stay exactly where you are. So front knee tracks over that front ankle. We're opening up to face the long end of the mat. And we're actively reaching in opposite directions, finding our warrior two. From warrior two, we're going to exhale, spinning the shoulders to face the short end of the mat for warrior one. Hands can be at our heart, up above our head, or on our hips. And then we're going to begin to flow, inhaling warrior two. Exhaling warrior one. Inhaling warrior two. Exhaling warrior one. We're going to meet in warrior one. Spinning up the back heel, coming into a high crescent. Again, I'm just going to switch for camera angles. And then we're going to come down into our lunge and take it all the way back into down dog. Feeling free to walk the dog here. And then we're coming forward into either plank or kneeling plank, lowering all the way down to the mat, finding our cobra, lowering all the way to the mat once again, pushing up to kneeling plank and back to child's pose. This time we're going to take our left foot forward, finding a low lunge, option to raise the back knee if we want it. We don't have to. Then we're going to send the hips back, straightening the front leg, finding a runner's lunge. Pretty big opening here in this front leg. And we're going to send it back to our low lunge. And we're going to push through this front foot, lifting up into our low crescent. Exhaling down. We're going to begin to flow with the breath. So we're inhaling, hips back. Exhaling to low lunge. Inhaling, lifting, strong core. Exhaling back down to low lunge. Moving with our breath. We're going to meet in our low lunge. Popping the back knee up and spinning the back heel down. We're finding our warrior feet here. So again, front toes point forward, back toes are at a 90 to 45 degree angle. So we have a nice strong base. We're walking the hands up the front leg, bending the front knee over the front ankle and opening up to face the long end of the mat, warrior two. We're going to begin to flow here. So we exhale, shoulders come to face the short end of the mat. Hands can be at the heart, up above the head, or on the hips. Finding our warrior one. Inhaling to open up to our warrior two. Warrior one. Warrior two. Flowing with the breath. Exhaling warrior one. Inhaling warrior two. We're going to meet in warrior one. We're going to spin up the back heel. And again, hands can be at our heart or up above our head. And then we're going to take the hands down, taking the front foot back to down dog. From here, we are going to take the knees down to the mat, finding child's pose. We're going to inhale high onto the knees for kneeling mountain. Exhaling, bow to child's pose. Inhaling to kneeling plank, lowering halfway or all the way down, and opening up the chest to either cobra or this nice in between cobra dog, which is like a mix between cobra and upward facing dog. And then we're going to send it back to child's pose. Inhaling up to kneeling mountain. Exhaling, bow to child's pose. Inhaling to kneeling plank. Again, lowering halfway or all the way down, opening up the chest to cobra or cobra dog. Sending it back to child's pose. We're going to do that just a few more times. Inhaling up to kneeling plank, or kneeling mountain rather. Exhaling, bowing to child's pose. Inhaling to kneeling plank for real this time. Lowering halfway or all the way down and opening up the chest. Sending it back to child's pose. Last time, inhaling up to kneeling mountain. Exhale, bow to child's pose. Inhaling, kneeling plank. Lowering halfway or all the way down, opening up the chest, sending it back to child's pose. From here, we'll inhale up to all fours. We're going to kick the right foot forward, finding a low lunge. Then we're going to pop the back knee up, spinning the back heel down, bringing our stance in for warrior feet. Walking the hands up the front leg, we'll open up to find warrior two. And I'm just going to turn so we can find camera angles and I don't have to have my back to you. So from warrior two, we're heading into reverse warrior. So right hand reaches up, nice big opening in the right side of the body. From here, we're going to take it into triangle. So we're straightening the right leg, right hand comes to the shin or the ankle, left hand reaches up. Left hand's going to come down. We're going to hop that back foot halfway forward. Both sets of toes are pointed forward. Both feet are flat on the mat. We're melting over the front leg, finding a pyramid pose. And then we're going to bring all of our weight into this front leg. Hands come a step out in front of that front foot. And we're picking up the back heel. This is option one. Option two is to lift the back foot. Option three is to bring the left hand to the left hip. And option four is to open up that top hip to the ceiling for half moon. No matter what option we took, we're going to take it back down. So if we opened up the hip, we're going to square the hips off. We're going to set the back foot down if we picked it up, finding our pyramid once again. From our pyramid, we are going to open up to face the long end of the mat. So we're coming up, we're widening the stance as we open up to face the long end of the mat. We're going to bend the knees. We're going to find our goddess pose here. Choosing to either hold or to flow, our choice. And then we're going to face the back of our mat, finding a warrior two. From this warrior two, we're going to take the right arm to rest on the right thigh, left arm reaches up, side angle. If it's honoring to the body, maybe we want to take an extended side angle by reaching the right hand down toward the mat. And then we're going to add in some arm circles. So whether we're in side angle or extended side angle, we're going to take some nice big arm circles. Reaching that left arm back up. We're going to take it back down into our lunge pose and then back to down dog. Feeling free to walk the dog here. We're going to walk the feet forward to forward fold. Inhaling up to mountain. And then we're going to take the right foot back. So from here, we should be finding our warrior two facing the opposite direction than what we just came from. However, I'm going to turn so that I can face you guys. Right? So we're finding our warrior two here. Then we're going to take our left arm to rest on the left leg. Right arm's reaching up. If we want to try an extended side angle, maybe we'll take the left arm to the floor or a block if we have one of those available to us. And then we're going to add in some arm circles. So nice big arm circles with that right arm. We're going to meet with that right arm back up to the ceiling. And then we're going to pull ourselves up into warrior two. From warrior two, we're going to straighten out that front leg, pivot so that both sets of toes point forward. Then we're going to hinge at the hips, coming into our straddle forward fold. We're going to take our hands over to the left leg, stretching over the left leg. Coming back to center. And then we're going to take our hands over to the right leg. Coming back to center. We'll roll up the spine to standing. And then we're going to pivot our feet to face the front end of the mat for our warrior two. So from our warrior two, top front hand is coming up into reverse warrior. And then that top hand's going to come down to our shin or our ankle or maybe a block if one is accessible to us. We're straightening that front leg into triangle pose. From here, we're going to take that top hand down. We're going to hop the back foot halfway forward. Finding our pyramid pose here, melting over that front leg. And then we are going to bring our hands a step in front of that front foot, bringing all of our weight into that front leg, lifting the back heel, or maybe we want to try lifting the entire back foot. Maybe we want to try bringing a hand to the hip. And if we're looking for more of a challenge than this, maybe we're opening the top hip up toward the ceiling for half moon. If we took it to half moon, let's take it back down into a 2-point stance or a 3-point stance. And if we lifted that back foot or if we lifted the back heel, we're going to bring the feet together into forward fold. Inhaling up to mountain. We're going to take our hands behind the back, finding a playground ball behind our back, or maybe shrinking it down into a tennis ball or a golf ball. No matter what size ball we're holding behind our back, we're going to lift the chest up toward the ceiling. Dropping the ball, bringing our hands back to our sides. We're going to find our forward fold on the exhale. And we're going to bring our hands flat to the mat. We're going to step back to downward facing dog. From down dog, we'll inhale to plank or to kneeling plank. And we'll lower halfway or all the way down, opening up the chest, finding cobra, up dog, or an in-between. And then we're going to send it back to either down dog or child's pose. If we are in child's pose, we'll lift the hips, finding our down dog. And then we'll all walk it forward to forward fold. Inhaling up to mountain. We're going to get ready for tree pose. If we'd like to move next to a wall to have that safety, we are more than welcome. If we'd like to try our tree pose today, if it's honoring to our body today, we'll bring our weight into the left foot. Right heel comes into the left ankle, and we'll find a hand position that honors our center of balance. This is option 1 for tree pose. Option 2, if we'd like to challenge ourselves a little bit more, is to slide that right foot up the left leg to a height that is appropriate and honoring to our body. If our tree is blowing in the wind today, it's okay to come down and reset, giving ourselves permission to do so. And then we'll come down into mountain. We're going to switch it out. So bringing our weight into the right foot this time, left heel comes into the standing ankle, left knee goes out to the side. This may be our tree pose today, and if it is, this is wonderful. If we'd like to challenge ourselves a little bit more, maybe we're sliding that foot up the leg. Pushing the leg into the foot just as much as we're pushing the foot into the leg, finding a nice strong core, nice strong trunk of the tree. And we're going to lower the left foot back down to the mat, finding our mountain pose. If we moved next to a wall, let's come back and we'll all meet at the top of our mats. From here, we're going to sit the hips back into chair pose, maybe bringing our hands to our thighs this time, just noticing how that feels. From here, if we want to keep our hands on our thighs, we're welcome to. Maybe we're bringing our hands to our hearts, out in front, up above, wherever's most honoring to our body. And we'll begin to lift alternating heels. Option to stay right here in chair, lifting alternating heels, Or maybe we want to try some balancing chair by lifting up onto the balls of the feet. If we lift it onto the balls of our feet for balancing chair, we'll lower the heels back down. If we were pedaling heels, let's bring them both back to the mat. We're going to exhale to forward fold. Hands come flat to the mat. We're going to step it back to down dog. Lowering the knees down to the mat, we're going to find all fours. From all fours, we're going to find some spinal balance. So we're going to take our right foot back to the wall, holding it here. If we're challenging ourselves, maybe that left arm reaches forward. Again, checking in that we're actively reaching with our limbs. So if the right foot's back, we're actively reaching with the right foot toward the wall behind us. If the left arm is forward, then we're actively reaching in both directions. One more breath here. And then we'll lower it down. This time taking the left foot toward the wall behind us. Then actively reaching with that foot toward the back wall. We're looking to challenge ourselves. Maybe the right arm reaches forward and we're actively reaching in both directions. One more breath, and then we'll bring it down. From here, we're going to take from our right knee to our right toes out diagonally like a kickstand. We're going to take the left leg straight, toes come to the mat. We're going to come onto the long edge of that left foot, reaching with the left hand up into a kneeling side plank. From our kneeling side plank, we're going to use the muscles in the left side of the body to pull ourselves up into gate latch pose. Right arm reaches up, nice big opening in the right side of the body. Taking the right arm down to the mat, and then the left hand back down. We'll bring the left leg in and our kickstand in. Getting ready for that on the other side. So we're going to take the left knee to toes out diagonally like our kickstand. We're going to straighten the right leg this time. We're coming onto the long edge of that right foot, lifting the right arm up toward the ceiling. Here we are in a kneeling side plank. From here, we're going to use the muscles in the right side of the body to pull ourselves up into gate latch. Left arm reaches up. Big opening in the left side of the body here. Bringing the left hand back down to the mat. Right hand comes back down to the mat. We bring the right leg in and we bring our kickstand in. From here, we're going to sit back into child's pose, finding a honoring child's pose for our body. We're taking a few breaths. We're going to inhale forward to kneeling plank. And we're going to lower all the way down to the floor. Inhaling up, finding cobra. And then exhaling back down to the mat. We're going to bring our arms to the sides of our bodies. And on our inhale, we are going to lift the arms, the chest, and the legs, finding a locust pose. Noticing our belly push into the floor on each inhale here. One more breath. And then we're lowering back down to the mat. Bringing our hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to push it back up to kneeling plank and back to child's pose. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips, we're going to find our downward facing dog. From down dog, we're going to take this into a wide leg down dog. So we're going to line up the edges of our feet approximately with the edges of the mat. From here, we are walking the hands back toward the feet. And then we're going to take the toes out wider than the heels. Bending the knees, sinking the bum down toward the mat. Elbows rest on the inside of the thighs or inside of the knees. Option to stay right here, loving the hip opening we're experiencing here. Or maybe we want to bring our hands together into a full yogi squat, pushing the hands against each other. If we took our hands together, let's take them back down to the mat. And then we're going to straighten the knees back up, coming into a forward fold. Toes point to the front end of the mat. And we're going to walk the hands back out to our down dog. Bringing the knees back down to the mat, finding our child's pose once again. In child's pose, we're going to walk our hands over to the right side of the mat, reaching through the left fingers, nice big stretch in the left side of the body. We're breathing into that opening in the side body. Walking our hands back to center. We're going to walk our hands now over to the left side of the mat, reaching through the right fingers and breathing into the opening of the right side of the body. Walking our hands back to center. We'll begin to walk our hands in toward the rest of the body, sitting up with each step the hands take. And then we're going to sit our weight off to the side, bringing our legs out in front. From here, we are going to inhale, nice tall straight spine. Exhale, walk the hands out, finding a seated forward fold. Walking our hands back in. We're going to bend the right knee, bringing the right foot in toward the left knee or left thigh. We're going to take a hand to either side of that left leg. Nice, tall, straight spine. We're going to walk it out. Walking our hands back in. We're going to take the right knee up toward the ceiling. From here, left hand reaches across that right knee, right hand rests behind, or if we want a deeper twist, we'll inhale that left arm up, bringing the left elbow to the other side of the right knee, setting the right hand behind. Untwisting in the spine, bringing ourselves back to center. We're going to take the right knee off to the side, bending the left leg, coming into butterfly. From butterfly, let's go ahead and either lean forward for a deeper stretch, or stay right where we are, or take our hands behind us, sitting tall on the fingertips for a deeper stretch as well as a chest opening. And just so you guys can kind of see what I mean by taking the hands behind, sitting tall on the fingertips. If we took it a deeper stretch into butterfly, let's bring it back to center. Then we're going to straighten the right leg, bringing the left foot into the right knee or right thigh. We're going to take our hands to either side of that right leg, nice tall straight spine as we walk it out. Pausing where we feel a stretch and then relaxing the back. Walking the hands in. We're going to bring the left knee up toward the ceiling, foot flat on the mat. Two options here. Right hand can come across the left knee, left hand rests behind. If we want a deeper stretch than that, we will take the right arm up and taking the right elbow to the other side of the left knee, left hand still comes behind. Coming back to center. We're going to take both feet flat to the mat, knees bent. We're going to take our arms behind us. If this isn't comforting for the wrists, we can always substitute fists for wrists when our wrists are directly under the shoulders. We're going to inhale, lifting the hips. Exhale, lowering the hips. Inhale, lifting. Exhaling, lowering. Three more times, we'll lift up. Lowering down. We're going to walk ourselves onto our backs. Bringing the knees into the chest, maybe rocking side to side. Choosing to either stay here or to spread the knees out wider than the hips, grabbing onto either the back of the thighs, the ankles, or the feet. Lifting the feet to look flat against the ceiling, knees still bent. Finding our happy baby here. If we took it into happy baby, let's bring it back to knees to chest. Lowering the right foot to the mat, we're going to take the left ankle across the right knee. Some of us will feel an outer hip stretch here. If we do, I invite us to stay right here. If we'd like to deepen that opening in the outer hip, we can pick up the right foot, bringing the right knee in toward the chest. We're lowering the right foot back down if we picked it up, uncrossing the left ankle from the right knee, setting the left foot on the mat. Right foot comes up, crossing the right ankle over the left knee. Again, some of us may feel an outer hip stretch here. If we love this hip stretch right where it is, we can stay here. If we'd like to deepen the stretch at all, maybe we are picking up the left foot, bringing the left knee in toward the chest. If we picked up the left foot, we'll return it back to the mat. Uncrossing the right ankle from the left knee, setting the right foot back to the mat. And then we'll begin to windshield wiper our knees from side to side. Lowering them down to one side, back up to center, and down to the other side. Bringing our knees back up to center and preparing for final relaxation or Shavasana. Keeping either our knees bent or straightening them out. Bringing our hands to our sides, our stomachs, out to a T, whatever's most comforting for our body. Focusing in on our breath. Feeling the belly and chest expand with our inhale and deflate with our exhale. If we would like a silent final relaxation, feel free to completely tune me out or to pause the live video here. If you would like to participate in a final relaxation activity, we are going to begin by thinking of the most peaceful place that we know. This could be a beach or a favorite hangout spot, a view of a sunrise or a sunset. Maybe it's your favorite place in your house, or maybe it's floating in the sky among soft clouds. This place can be real or imaginary. We're going to imagine ourselves in that place. What do we see around us? What objects are nearby? Envisioning the scenery that surrounds us in our most peaceful place. What do you hear in your most peaceful place? Maybe you hear the sound of birds chirping, or of your friends' laughter, or maybe you hear the perfect sound of silence. What do you smell in your most peaceful place? What scent surrounds you here? Maybe it's the smell of fresh air or salty sea water. Maybe your favorite food. Imagining those smells all around us. And what do you feel here in your most peaceful place? Maybe you feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, or the comfort of a fuzzy blanket wrapped around you. Maybe you feel a glass of cold lemonade in your hand. Imagining all the wonderful things we feel in our most peaceful place. Relaxing more and more with each breath into our most peaceful place. It is time to start reawakening the body. We'll begin by wiggling some fingers and some toes, maybe rolling around wrists or ankles, maybe reaching our arms up above head for a full body stretch. If it's comforting and honoring to the body, maybe we'll roll off to one side. Taking another breath or so here. And then when we're ready, and if it's honoring to the body, we'll push up to a seated position. Thank you guys so much for joining me for yoga today. The light, love, and truth inside of me honors and recognizes the light, love, and truth inside of you. And because we share this, we are connected and we are one. Namaste.